So we've all seen the ads. A woman is moving slowly through life, her husband isn't interested in her, her kids are talking about her behind her back, her friends approach her, telling her they missed her at yoga and it'll probably help, meaning it will probably help her lose weight, because despite the fact that she looks like a normal woman of her age, she's actually fat. It's not because she keeps binge eating behind everyone's backs, although the ad shows us that she does this too. It's because her brain isn't working properly. And at some point, her son demands her attention and she snaps at him. And that makes her realize that something needs to change. So, one of her skinny friends who looks like Elsa, or like Aunt Cass from Big Hero 6, approaches her and tells her that she was just like her a few months ago, and now she's thinner and happier because of an app called Liven. Okay, so initially I planned on finding the video and screen recording it to show you an example of what I mean, but I can't find it anymore, and unfortunately I pass on YouTube now, so I'm now getting the male version of the ad. Here you go.
Well, this is embarrassing. We've all been there. Well, now I don't even have a job.
You said you were done with the beer.
Today was a bad day.
You always have an excuse.
I sent my CV to a few companies.
Any responses?
Not yet.
My salary won't cover everything. Don't take too long with this.
Megan, can you just come here?
I had a hard day. I'm basically working for 2 people now.
12 weeks. You haven't moved a pound. I'm doing everything you said. I know. That's the problem. I eat at midnight and hate myself for it. I train harder and nothing moves. I wake up already tired. I don't recognize myself anymore. You're not out of shape. You're stuck in fight or flight. Megan is pulling away. I can't sleep. I don't recognize myself anymore. 2 years ago, I woke up every day feeling like I was running on empty. So what did you do? I stopped trying to power through it. I found this app, Liven.
You have a very strong CV. We'd like you to start as early as next week.
Okay, so you get the point. The pattern is similar. He starts out fat, his wife finds him undesirable, and the gym doesn't work. But a couple of his hot Chad friends help him see that the problem is all in his head. And as soon as he downloads the app, within a few weeks, he's lost weight and his life goes back together again. So I don't know if you guys remember, but there was an ad a while ago that went something like, "This is how dopamine addiction works in women." And it'll be AI generated, it'll have a woman who's a Muppet or made out of yarn or some kind of cartoon, and it ultimately advertises the app Liven. I think a lot of people have seen that already. I recently watched a YouTube video about it, but nobody's talking about the strange Pixar animated ads. I mean, we can talk about them being misogynistic. They're specifically targeting grown women, possibly undiagnosed women with ADHD, or recently diagnosed women with ADHD, women who are struggling to lose weight. I mean, as you can see, it's not just misogyny, it's just blatantly targeting gender roles. But I'm not here to talk about it being misogynistic because, well, that is a problem.
The bigger problem is the fact that it's a scam.
And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So, what is Liven? Well, if you go on the website, you'll instantly be given a questionnaire. The questionnaire honestly looks very similar to questionnaires you fill out before you start your first therapy session. They'll ask you about your motivation, they'll ask you about your anxiety, they'll ask you about your eating and sleeping habits. And then at the end of that, they ask you to put in your email. This is as far as I went because I get too many spam emails already, so I was not willing to commit to spam emails in order to bring you this video. However, once you move past this point, apparently they will give you a payment plan or multiple payment plan options, but they will have a countdown timer at the top, which of course will send an anxiety shock to your brain and trigger you to respond faster, or to not think critically before you commit to a payment plan. What this app promises to do is to give you AI-generated cognitive behavioral therapy, which, by the way, you can get for pretty reasonably low prices at the sponsor of today's video, Brightside. Just kidding. You deserve to sponsor me for that. Actually, don't use Brightside because it didn't help me and it won't help you. But there are a plethora of online therapy options where you actually speak to licensed therapists that are frankly cheaper than what you'll get out of this app, because no matter what payment plan you use, as soon as you give this company your money, they can just charge your bank whenever they want. And that's what it seems that this website is doing. So Liven is owned by a company called Resoluti, which also advertises itself as an AI aid for people with ADHD. It can help you budget, manage your activities, track your emotions. Now, when I watched a video on Liven from about a year ago, the guy who made the video went through the reviews and noted that all the positive reviews looked AI generated themselves, and the only human written reviews were all negative. So I thought I'd go to an even more reliable source called Reddit, the center of the internet, or whatever it's called. I decided to share this Reddit comment, and because it's so long, I'm just going to read the two biggest paragraphs. On payment, you gain access to a pretty poor app with daily modules. Each is approximately a 1-minute read. To be fair, some of the info on procrastination and habits is quite valuable, but it isn't substantial enough to warrant the price. Overall, not particularly valuable. On the app, your profile section has no details, only the ability to change email and password. No billing, no card details to edit/update. I've just received a scam alert notification from my bank that an unrecognized payment of £99.99 was attempted on my account and was blocked. My card was also blocked. On calling the bank, it turned out to be Resoluti. Since the 3 months are about to finish, but technically not until tomorrow, January 11th, 2024, they've attempted to bill me again despite my initial purchase being a one-time payment. But ultimately, this app is a scam. While they give you a personalized quiz to fill out, the plan itself that you get seems to not be personalized. People have reported that it's repetitive, not very helpful. You could get the exact same advice from ChatGPT without paying exorbitant amounts of money for it. Ultimately, the biggest problem was there is no way to cancel your subscription. People report still getting money stolen from their accounts from this site years after they try canceling their subscription. Now, this is nothing new. This is an ad targeting vulnerable, lonely people who do not have someone to talk to and potentially can't afford a therapist or cannot commit to an hourly session once a week. So why am I talking about this? This is nothing new. I guess I wanted to talk about this because I found myself kind of fascinated by this ad. Like, whenever this ad comes up, I will watch all 2 to 5 minutes of it all the way through. I know the plot by heart now, and even when the AI-generated ad has slightly different scenes, I recognize that the script is very similar. We've been seeing a rise of AI everything now. Do you remember when verticals were a thing, or like vertical dramas? Yeah, there are still vertical dramas, but now most of them are AI-generated. AI is replacing small actors who get their roles from, again, silly little vertical films, like I just described, or ads like this. That's also kind of a problem, jobs being taken away by AI. The plot itself is really interesting. I mean, to me, it's just very amusing the way AI writes everything. For instance, there will be a script, and it's clear the woman is supposed to say one thing and her friend is supposed to say something else, but the woman might say both her line and her friend's line. The main woman's voice will change throughout the video. Sometimes it'll go from a more human-sounding voice to a completely robotic tone. And I think just the most disturbing thing is how uncannily these characters resemble Disney and Pixar characters. Previously, this ad was mimicking things like The Muppets, or I don't know if anyone remembers Nobody Sausage. They were mimicking Nobody Sausage's animation style because those were all simpler, and now they can replicate Disney and Pixar styles. They could sue for that possibly. Frankly, I feel like Disney is doing okay for itself, and maybe somebody like Nobody Sausage has a bit more grounds to sue because he's actually an individual creative artist. I've been seeing a couple of other ads. I'm not sure if they're made by the same company, but again, they look really similar down to mimicking Disney and Pixar animation. But they're Ads for learning different languages or for speaking more confidently. And again, they tend to start out with a woman who is rejected by her boyfriend's family because she can't speak Spanish, or she's not being heard in the workplace because she can't speak up for themselves. What can we do about it? Well, you can choose don't recommend ad or choose not to see this ad, but if it's a YouTube ad, there's actually kind of nothing you can do about it. You could pay for a YouTube subscription, but then you would miss out on all the other ads. And YouTube subscriptions kind of cost money. You could start using Rumble or Odyssey or BitChute, but your favorite channels are probably not on this. So what can we do? We actually can't do anything except skip 10 seconds through. Or you could convince YouTube you're the opposite sex and get targeted ads for the other sex. But if you've always wanted to know what the full story of that ad looks like, that's why I'm here. I watched it so you didn't have to. We meet this woman. She's a mom. She's a wife. Her husband won't look at her. Her husband may even be cheating on her. Her children seem to know about this already. The woman has friends who do yoga. The woman goes to the gym. Nothing helps. At some point, her husband finds her binge eating from the refrigerator at night, and he goes, "You've been eating again." Because, duh, she's kind of a human being. At some point, she yells at her son, and then later she ends up crying on a bench. Her bombshell, beautiful blonde friend approaches her and tells her about Liven. This woman starts researching Liven online, her eyes open wide, her jaw drops, and then we fast forward to a few months later where everybody is complimenting her now, and also she's lost weight, because the problem all along was ultimately all in her head. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching this short video. I thought I'd do a nice little lighthearted video that had nothing to do with the topics that are going to be sandwiching this video.